Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. As we come in, please let us know where you're from in the chat. Let's just make sure you're on mute as well. Oh, more people. Good morning. Good morning.
Yay, Laura.
Cool. We have people from all over, which is so great. As y'all are coming in and getting comfortable, I'm super, super excited about this. Please do let us know where you're from. Hey, Laura. Hey, Daniel. Let's see, Sylvia. Oh, from Chicago. Hey, Chicago. Hey, Richard. So super exciting. And more people will be coming in. I'm super excited to get started. Erica, you ready? I'm just
I'm
gonna.
ready.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adrienne Lipscomb. I am in Austin, Texas, and I'm super excited to talk to Chef Erica. Do you want me to say your whole name? Or do they just call you Chef Erica? What do you
You
prefer?
know, they don't really, oh, there's my mom. um, they don't. They call me Erica, or they see me on the street and they call me Chocolate Lady, or, so yeah.
It's so cool. I wanted to say hi to everybody, let y'all know as y'all come into the room, please go ahead and let us know where you're from. Okay, Durham, North Carolina. I hope y'all are staying dry out there. There's a lot of rain going on through the south of between Texas and the south. Again, my name is Adrienne Lipscomb, and we are with Chef Erica, or the Chocolate Lady, today, and hosted by Slow Food USA. I just want to say thank you to Slow Food for allowing us to host a Zoom today, but I also want to inspire y'all for the support of foodways and farmers doing their powerful work. Consider joining Slow Food USA, the movement, and also your membership. We're going to be talking about seed to bar, or origin to bar, I like to say. Join us today, join the movement. But also join the membership for Slow Food USA, and you can find that at slowfoodusa.org/membership. And I believe we'll also put that in the chat as well. All right, I want to jump all into this. First of all, Chef Erica, aka Chocolate Lady, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Erika Cline, and I have been a pastry chef for 38 years and a chocolatier for 26 plus years. And I am in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. For the last 20 years, I've been in and out of the Caribbean, really loving chocolate, loving my journey. It started in Nassau, Bahamas, as in like full chocolate factory, hands on, with Great Cliff Chocolatier with Great Cliff Hotel. And they flew me down. They thought we were a perfect match for each other. And we built the factory to my specs. And we started doing tours, making chocolate bonbons, and we were bringing in cacao from Jamaica, and which Jamaican beans are, they are durable, they're hardy. Majority of the time, those cocoa beans are being grown on coffee plantations, so they're rich and tough, and they can take on anything, take on any flavor. And so we use the cacao from Jamaica, and for a good 4 years, I was with them doing bonbons, bars, and doing classes, workshops. And our biggest client was Disney. So we had the Disney ships coming in. We were doing 25 people at a time on hands-on. And it was
Wow.
it was fun. It was fun. But I fell in love with chocolate at 10 years old. Um, and never looked back. And I haven't had a Hershey bar and since I was 12 years old, 10, 12 years old.
Well, we talked off and on about chocolate for like almost a week, and especially
Yeah.
recently, like the last couple of days. But I told you I had something to tell you, and I was like, I have to wait to tell you like on camera so everybody can see your reaction. I do not like chocolate. And I do not like chocolate. I've never liked chocolate. I was the odd kid that liked lemon and
Uh-huh.
I was a lemon head and strawberries, things of that nature, but I never liked chocolate. And I
Wow.
yeah. And but the thing is that I make chocolate, right? And one of the reasons why I decided to learn to make chocolate was because of the reason of not liking chocolate, like trying to find out
Mm-hmm.
why I didn't like chocolate. I have
Mm-hmm.
a high sense of taste and smell, so that really falls in line with that because it falls in line with coffee as well, and I don't drink coffee either. And
Neither do I.
I have all this energy, but I don't drink coffee. Um,
Yeah.
but chocolate has always been that thing that I would say no to, or I would smile
Mm.
really politely and just eat that one bite. But yeah, chocolate is not my like not one of the preferred go-tos. And and I've been excitedly talking to you about chocolate all week. But again, I do not prefer chocolate. I wanted to go into, to what inspired you to do like your chocolate vision in St. Croix, because
Uh-huh.
you were stateside for a while. When I first met you, you were stateside, and then
Yeah.
when you went to St. Croix, in fact, we had phone conversations about chocolate farms, and like
Yeah.
and chocolate farms, and also different types of chocolate. So, what
Mm.
inspired you to go back and to do chocolate?
Let's say, after I left Draycliff, I ended up getting married to a guy from the British Virgin Islands. And I wanted to own my own chocolate company.
Hmm.
And that's how Blue Chocolat came about. If you look at the logo, it is a island of Tortola. Tortola is also known for its full moon and its full moon parties. And then cacao is grown just all on private land. And so we came up with this logo, and my favorite color is blue. And it is so, so funny because, I mean, when I say my favorite color is blue, ever since I was a little girl, my bedroom has always been blue. Blue is just that color for me. And so, and I love France and I love the French language. Can I speak it? No. I try so hard, but I don't speak it. I can read it, but I can't speak it. It's so weird. But then in Tortola, we opened in late 2015, early 2016 with Blue Chocolat. Um, and then in 2017, there was a hurricane named Irma,
Yeah.
and she wiped me out
Mm.
completely. Like my whole life changed, completely changed. Um, Packed up, like when I say nothing, I saved some equipment, my tempering machine, and a few things, and my molds. Ended up going back to Florida and opened up Blue Chocolate Cafe and was doing chocolate there. And I was pretty much using Cocoa Berry Calabo, which is amazing because I was an ambassador for them while I was in the Bahamas for 2 years. And I was the first Black woman chocolate ambassador for Cocoa Berry Calabo. Um, and I was super proud about that. And I love that chocolate. It works out great for me. But then my mom and my sister, when I was living in Tortola, they lived in St. Thomas. So after COVID, after all this stuff has gone by, um, they called me and I was in Rome for like 10 days. And they're like, oh, we're going to St. Croix. We're moving to St. Croix. Like literally, we're packing up our house and we're moving to St. Croix in 20 days. And I was like, oh, well, you guys, good luck. There's no diseases, there's no hurricanes. I am good. I'm finally settled. And my mom was just like, well, no, I need both of my daughters with me. I want my whole family here. So they moved by January 20th, and then I got here in that late April. of 2022. And and then I became a pastry chef for five uh, restaurants. And then I was missing something. My heart was calling for chocolate, and it was totally perfect because we have cacao in our rainforest here, and a lot of people don't know that. A lot of Crucian people didn't know that either. And I did my research on the history of Crucian chocolate. I started walking around in the rainforest. I started meeting people, um, and I said I can make this happen. And I started doing pop-ups here in St. Croix, downtown Christiansted, and it people were loving it. And so then I said I can make a living off of this. And then I opened up Blue Chocolate. We are in Blue Chocolate is only 479 square feet, and we do everything right in here. So it's super. I love it. It's my happy place, and that's how we I got here to St. Croix. So
Well, I could tell you, everyone, she took me on a little tour yesterday, and showed me her entire space what they're doing, and it's pretty amazing to see what they can get done in a small square footage. But today is also World Chocolate Day, which is exciting. But again, for the people that don't eat chocolate, we still well respect it.
yes.
And I wanted to talk about chocolate because being here in the States, when people think chocolate, especially an average, they're either really on the spectrum of like Hershey's and Snicker bars, and they call that chocolate or having a chocolate bar. Or if you're that chocolate connoisseur, which some of us are, we'll talk about chocolate more in the percentage, or like, oh, I like to eat a 70% bar or 60, or they're, the crazy ones that like it in the higher 80s and 90s, right? Percentage.
Right.
And I kind of want to do a little bit of breakdown, but I thought we would start from the beginning because we've had intense conversations about the cacao plant itself, about the tree
Mhm.
itself. Could you tell us a little bit about the tree or about the planting? And I'll be more than happy to like start filling in on some stuff as well as you're talking.
Awesome. So I don't know if everyone saw the little video that I put up early this morning. We were in the rainforest, and there we were at Domino's Club, which is an awesome place. But in our rainforest, a lot of our cacao needs friends to help it grow. Okay. It's the soil is very special. It needs a lot of water, it needs a lot of sun, but it also needs a lot of shade. And so it's growing up under all these friends. And what I mean by friends, papaya, banana leaves, genips. I don't know if a lot of people know what genips are. It's a fruit. And it's green, it's about this big. And you take the peel off and you suck on it, and it's kind of orange like cantaloupe, and but you suck on it, and you suck all the pulp off of it, and it's delicious. Lemongrass. We also have Caribbean almonds that grow in our rainforest that grows around. It needs all these beautiful things, coffee, to help it grow. And you would think that cacao trees, the branches are big, but they're not. It takes 5 years for a cacao tree to grow. Okay, 5 years for that cocoa pod. And if you see behind me this beautiful wallpaper, it has the Theoborn tree, and which means fruits of the gods. Um, and has all the cacao pods that are growing on it. There's so many different species of cacao. Um, Here, what is the most common is the yellow one, and I have one in my hand. It's quite a small one, but we have all three species growing um, in our rainforest. But because of 2017 with the Hurricane Maria here in St. Croix, she wiped out like 32% of two of the species. And
Yeah.
now we have three major private farms that are trying to grow all of them back. There's a lot of Crucian families that have cacao trees growing in their backyard.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, people they just come by and drop them off. And I'm
That's
like,
all.
thank
I
you.
want that kind of life, right? Just drop
Yeah,
off cacao
like thank you
pods.
so much. Or I get a phone call, hey, Erica, I got quite a few cacao growing. I'm not going to do anything with it. But there's so many great stories to go to with cacao. And I love to tell this story when I was in the Bahamas when it came down doing a class, and it was a family from Jamaica. They were on a Disney cruise, and the grandmother, she was there, and it was a whole family of like 15. And the great grandmother, she was almost 100 years old.
Mm,
And I said, "What is your secret?" And she said, "Chocolate tea."
I would
They
I
drink
wouldn't be
chocolate
surprised.
tea on a daily basis. It's spiritual, it's healthy, um, and it soothes your soul. And that's what she was gorgeous. She did not look like she was 100 years old whatsoever. And chocolate is magic, you know.
Yeah,
And
chocolate's a
I
magic
just,
is a magic
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And I'll tell you, about the tree, and a lot of people probably don't know that it is part of the mallow family. And
uh-huh,
so that means, with the mallow family, there's okra, there's hibiscus, there's cotton, there's cola. It's a part of that family. So it also is viscous. So I know that
yeah,
sounds really funny when we're talking about chocolate, but when we're talking about the seed, and Erica has a seed, right? You have in front of you, and we
yes.
were just comparing. Yeah, we were just yeah, the
I have a
pod.
pod.
The pod. We were just comparing, and so what did I do? I got a pod myself. And if you could see the complete difference between her pod and my pod, it'll tell you about there's just so many different varieties out there of chocolate, of cacao. And then, like, again, like she said, we would go into details, especially her and I, we would talk about the planting family and what would be planted next to this. And like mallow, like okra, like these other plants, having companions are very well kept. But also, like, that cross pollination, there would be some weird things that would start, especially with flavors, that would start happening when it would come to having cacao pods. And if you have, like, never seen the inside of a cacao pod, I'm gonna see if I can bring this a little closer so you can see. It is a little viscous and white, right? You're not expecting
Yes.
like chocolate to come out white.
Now and I'm gonna come closer to my camera in a second. Now yours is really, really white pulp and very sticky. Your seeds are a lot larger than mine. Um, and I'm coming closer, hopefully not too scary close. So this
No,
is the
you're
size
great.
of the cocoa pot that I have here. Now I opened one up. I had two earlier today, and now these are the seeds that I removed out of the pot itself. And yours is super white, even though I took open mine earlier this morning. They weren't as white as yours.
Yeah.
Very veiny and very rooty. Um, did you taste yours yet?
No, but I can tell you, like, through, like, since I high sense of taste and smell right now,
Hmm.
the fruit smell off of this is like indescribable. So I had my
Hmm.
kids come smell it this morning to tell me what it smelled like to them, right? Because
Hmm.
they've never smelled they never see me open one up and let them smell. And we're talking about
Okay.
kids. They're my kids are 5 and 6 and 7. So they came to
Yeah.
smell it. One was like, the littlest one's like, that's mango. It smells like mango, right? And then the other one smells like, and says, this is like banana, like a tropical banana. And so I agree with them. Like, I can smell all those flavors off of this. And so
Yeah.
if anyone's asking me the origin of this pod, I'm in Texas, so we don't have Texas cacao pods, just letting y'all know. This one is from Ecuador. Ironically, my grocery store, which is HEB, if anyone knows that one, they just started recently in the last 6 to 8 months, started carrying cacao pods. And it was very shocking to me to see, and they're pretty fresh. So that was like another thing of like being really shocked to see that they're starting to carry a lot of exotic fruits. For again, and I think people should understand, this is a fruit, so this can be eaten this way, and there is a taste off of it, and I'll pull one out. In fact, it's wet. I'll tell you that
Yes,
much.
it's
it,
gooey. It's
it is
gooey.
gooey. It's
Yes.
that viscous feel. um yeah, I mean, literally it tastes like a tropical fruit. Like if I was in the tropics, this is kind of what I would feel like, a
Yeah.
tropical food.
Now
Passion
mine
fruit.
tasted more vanilla and pineapple-y. You
Yeah.
know,
And then a hint
um,
of chocolate, like a very at the end, a hint of chocolate. So I want to move on, and I know there's probably gonna be lots of questions about this. And
also, can I throw one extra thing in
yeah,
there?
yeah, yeah.
When you say about pollination, guess what a cacao flower needs for that?
Tell them.
What what bug? The no-see-um, the fruit fly. It needs that for pollination and to
Wow.
help it. Yes. So do I want to kill it half the time? Yes, get out of here. You know what I mean? But no, but not in the rainforest. We need that for our cacao itself. It's very, very important. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I had no idea. Another thing that was like so surprising as we moved on from talking about the pod itself, in which, let me tell
Mhm.
you, like, again, there's so many varieties, and the varieties do vary from different areas
Yes.
down to, like, again, the pollination of it. Um what I found so unique about chocolate making was the process of chocolate making.
Yeah.
I was completely shocked a little bit about how chocolate was made,
Really?
and what happens to chocolate when you make it, and how that
Hmm.
depends on, the value of that chocolate. And I want you to kind of talk to us a little bit, and especially the process that you go through on how to make chocolate. And I'm gonna fill in between the lines.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So after we open up all our cocoa pods, right? We have a wooden box and we line it with banana leaves. And what do we know about bananas? What is it? The importance about bananas is, you know,
No, I'm gonna let you
right?
go. I'm gonna
Potassium.
potassium.
So the potassium. So fill this wooden box up that is lined with banana leaves, and it's all that pulp that you just pulled out of your pod, all out of my pod, and you fill it all up, and you close it with more banana leaves and put the top on it and put it in a dark area, right? And for 7 days, you go in and out and you're turning it, making sure that it's being mixed properly. But that potassium breaks down all the gases, all the water, the yeasts, the sugars, the acids, the bacteria, and it builds it up, and that's called fermentation.
Yes. So I want to talk about
Yes.
that part because
Okay.
the way that you're describing it is different from the way that I've seen other people doing it. And
Uh huh.
I think it has to do, that has to, like, culturally do and what you have available. Banana leaves are, like, hands down, I've seen across the board being used. But I think people are kind of be shocked to hear that you ferment chocolate. And when you say ferment, that's where I got peaked like that, because I ferment a lot of things. And so when I figured out that, whoa, you have to ferment it first, what is that,
Yeah.
and what's that process like? And that's just step number one, y'all. This is
But also, not everyone does fermentation on their
that's true.
chocolate.
That's
Not
true.
everyone does. But I feel for me, I like that because I want to develop the flavor more.
Right, right. And
You
I think
know?
and I found that quite amazing when I was walking through my process and researching and talking to other chocolatiers about the fermentation process that some people do and some people don't. But
Hmm.
I find, again, like, doing that fermentation also helps control a little bit of that acidity action that
Hmm.
happens within chocolate. And some people are like, there's acidity that happens. Yes, that's kind of goes falls in line
Most
with that bitterness.
this is science, everybody. We are scientists at the same time. So we're breaking everything down to get the exact flavor or the exact texture that we want. The taste once it lays on your tongue. all these things, the fermentation helps make that happen. So yes.
Okay, so we fermented. We fermented
Yes,
for 7 days.
yes.
What's the next step for you?
We remove it out of the box and we lay it on wooden trays. And the wooden trays and tables are covered with like a sun tint kind of. And we let it sun dry for like 3 to 4 days. If it's raining, there's going to be more humidity in the air
Right.
and you don't want your beans to get wet. And this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see.
I guess what, I got you, girl. I got you on my end.
All
Guess
right.
yeah, look, guys. I'm going to tell and
Yes,
doing some at the same time.
these are sun dried right here. I could probably come closer. Yep,
It's it's a
you
yep.
know, there we go. Sun dried right here. And so after sun dried, we take it and we roast it. I have some roasted beans here. You have
Yeah.
any roasted beans?
I got some in my hand right now. And I
Okay.
and I like yeah. Let's see if I can pull a couple. Let's see.
Yep, there we go. Yeah. Ooh la la. And it smells so good after it's roasted. I do a medium roast. I don't. Have you ever? Of course, you have smelled burnt chocolate, right?
Yeah, yeah. We know
So
burnt
a
chocolate. We
dark
don't want burnt
roast.
chocolate.
We don't want no burnt chocolate. I don't recommend a dark roast. That's just me. I do a medium roast. I want it nice and kind of nice, beautiful brown color. And
You know what it
once you,
reminds? You know what this
yes,
process reminds me of? It reminds me of
oh,
coffee. Yeah,
yep,
it reminds me of coffee when we start because you hear us say medium roast, dark roast.
yep,
It
yep,
and a lot of people, especially like small chocolatiers, they will even use a coffee roaster to
yep,
roast their coffee beans and to be
yep.
able to rotate. So, if
And
you're a
it,
coffee drinker, this could be up your alley a little bit on doing
yes, and most definitely, if you are a coffee drinker, you can take your cacao beans after you crush them in a coffee grinder and steep it, and then you have chocolate coffee. But we
beans.
call it chocolate tea. You know
Yes.
what I mean? But it's just the same way as chocolate coffee or coffee itself. So after it is roasted, then it needs to be cracked. And so we have a cracker, and you drop it in the cracker, and it should be roasted so nicely where you can just break your cocoa nibs. Can you break your cocoa nibs up? Your
I
cocoa
have
bean into nibs?
I do. In fact, ironically, I have nibs. Ha! Because I
There you
came ready
go.
and
And I
prepared.
do too. And I do too. I always have nibs. I
Yeah.
always have nibs.
I
But
want I
once
want to
you
talk. Can we talk a little
let's
bit
talk
about
about
this?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you crack that, there's a hole on it. You see the shell?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll
So
try to pull one.
yeah, and I have a little one. I have some in my hand.
I have one here too as well, so people can see.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the
So
hole right here,
the
guys.
little hole
Yeah.
right there. And this is where you can make chocolate tea from.
And we
You
also use
collect
it to
all
make
that
make cacao, like to make cocoa powder.
cocoa powder. Also, if you're a gardener and you have a lot of the hull from the cocoa nibs itself, you can turn this into your soil, and it's great for your soil. And I know you're a gardener, so this is perfect for that. I use it for my chocolate tea, and I mix it with dandelion leaves, marigold leaves, uh, and a little cinnamon,
Oh, we're
and I
gonna need
make my
that
own
recipe.
teas.
We're gonna need
Oh,
that
I'll send
recipe.
it to you. I'll send it to you.
Uh,
Yes, yes.
It did like
So,
we moved on kind of quickly, but it was like the cocoa nibs, right? And like from that process to separating the hull, which we were just showing y'all,
yep,
now you have, you'll have these little parts or you'll have whole beans in there in which you need to, usually will crack down or come fall down, and that's where the cocoa nibs are from.
that's right. That's right. And so it's so funny. I want to tell you about this machine that blows the hole off. It's called the widower.
Yeah.
Yes. Girl, it took me forever to pronounce that properly. Like I had to practice on that one. But the widower blows the hull off of the cocoa nibs itself, and then we get to the best part, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
But I have to ask you a question, which I know you know. What is the fat of chocolate?
Oh, I don't know, Ham. I'm
Oh,
not. I
yes,
don't.
you do, honey.
I
Cocoa
thought you asked
butter.
me. I literally thought you asked me the percentage, but yes,
No, no,
cocoa
no.
butter.
What is
Yeah,
the fat of
the
chocolate?
cocoa butter.
The cocoa
Yeah.
butter. Yes, yes. So I have cocoa butter is very expensive. The pure cocoa butter itself. We don't have enough cacao on St. Croix for me to just make my own cocoa butter yet. I'm working on that. Um, but I bring it in and it's very expensive. It's
Oh,
really expensive.
yeah. Well, I was gonna go. I'm gonna swing back because
Yes,
there's some
sorry.
people that are interested in making this, but they like don't have a widower to
Uh-huh.
to separate the leaves. Excuse me, the hull from outside the
Yes.
seed from
And
the
it's
nibs.
messy.
And it can
Yes.
be messy. And I have done this when I first started out.
Hmm.
You can use a hair dryer. It is
Yeah.
it's very light. The hole's so light that when you start blowing on the nibs, it will separate from the nibs.
Yes.
And it usually, like if you have it in a big enough bowl, you can move it around, and the and all the hole will go to the outside
The bowl.
of the bowl. And usually with widowers, and what happens is as it's being crushed down and it's falling down, there's like wind being blown, and the
Hmm.
it's the nibs are dropping down because the weight is enough, but the hull is being pushed to the side, so that's kind of like the supper. That's kind of how it separates.
Yes.
Yes, I did know what cocoa butter was. I'm sorry, I thought you were asking
Of
me the
course you do.
percentage
Of
of
course,
fat into
no.
chocolate. I was like, whoa, you get
No.
really scientific on me,
No,
right?
no, no. We're not gonna break it down all the way like
Yeah,
that. No, no,
yeah,
no. I
yeah,
leave that to my sister.
but I want to, since you brought up cocoa butter, I want to talk about
Yes.
white chocolate real quick. Since you brought it up, we're talking about World Chocolate Day.
Yes,
White
yes.
chocolate. How's your feel about that?
Okay. So I'm not a big white chocolate fan only because it's only the essence of chocolate. And why I say it like that is because it is majority cocoa butter, and cocoa butter is the essence of chocolate. I
Right.
also like to say everybody in the world is chocolate people. And why do I say that?
Yeah.
Everybody in the world is chocolate people because cocoa butter is in our shampoo, our
Yep.
makeup, our suntan lotion, our regular lotion, our lips, everything. You cannot walk out of the house without having cocoa butter on your body. So we're all chocolate people. I
I
just
mean,
like to share that.
yeah. I mean, I say I don't ingest chocolate, but yes, I do use cocoa butter in my
Yes,
lotions, my like body
yes.
lotions. And it can be seen from all around the world. Now that I brought up around the world, I want to
Uh-huh.
talk about the stigma of chocolate and the value of chocolate and how we perceive what
Oh.
is a, you know where I'm going. What is a delicate and it's an expensive chocolate compared to, breaking the myth of where chocolate comes from.
It's that's kind of deep. You know what I mean? It's like because also, so I've done a lot of seminars. I've spoken on chocolate, and a lot of people go, "Okay, can you talk about like the good and bad of chocolate and how it affects people in the world and the people that grow cacao and where it's coming from?" And sometimes I try to like stay away from that little area just a little bit. You know what I mean? Only because it's not that I don't want to really get deep into it because we could go so deep.
Right,
You
right. We don't have
know?
enough time for it. Um,
Yeah.
but how about I break it down a little bit better? Belgian chocolate. Um, let's talk about Belgian chocolate. And I'm just gonna say there's no cacao trees in Belgium, right? I
Thank
just
you. Thank you.
and say that, and that's really funny when you think about it, and everybody goes, it kind of dawns on everybody like, oh yeah, they can't have trees in there. It does
Yeah,
not come from Belgium. When you see the French chocolate or Swiss chocolate, it is not coming
right.
from those countries. It is coming from a southern country, Africa, the islands, South America. Those chocolates are coming from there, and then they're being shipped and moved, and then there's a process. And I
And
know
then there's a
I probably
process.
Yeah, we're going to go a little bit into the process, but I wanted to bring that up for people because the value of chocolate and how it's seen and perceived across the world
Yeah,
on, how this chocolate in Belgium or some of the finest chocolates
right,
really have started have started in the origins of those chocolates are in other countries that are not receiving that
right.
monetary wealth that people are paying dollar for dollar in. So that's why you start seeing world trade, like chocolate out there where they're, looking to bring more equitable on who is picking the chocolate and harvesting
Yeah.
the chocolate to it gets to the bar. But I just wanted to make sure that disclaimer was like in there, like Belgium does not have any cacao trees, y'all.
No,
France does not
no,
have any
no,
cacao trees,
not
just
at all. They just
conversation.
process the chocolate. I can say for the Southern Caribbean, the French came through in 1714. For 200 years, they got cacao beans and pods from the Mayans. And then for 200 years, they were going up and down the Atlantic and the Caribbean Sea, and they were using it as barter and also as gold. And they were dropping off cacao beans at every island, you know. And the French, they figured out that Grenada and Trinidad had the best soil, the best water, and best environment for the cacao itself. And so for 200 years, they were going up and down the Atlantic, and then taking after growing the bean and removing the bean and the cocoa pods. From there, they would take it to France, and then they would process it. You know,
Yeah.
who has the best chocolate? The Southern Caribbean has the best chocolate, and that's how I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm not gonna say, I mean, I'm in love with the Caribbean at the same time, so I'm a little biased. But the French, thank you. I have a little French blood in me, but I like to say, that do I like Belgian chocolate? Yes, I do. But what do I like more? I like bean to bar chocolate. So
Yeah.
I cannot go deeper into that because I'm always gonna say I like bean to bar chocolate better. Why? Because I can make it myself. I can add the flavors. I'm not using soy lecithin to stretch it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did we want to go into that part? You
Oh
know,
no. Like, no, we're not
is
gonna
it
do that.
healthy for you? There's a lot of people out there that rather not have soy lecithin in their chocolate. I see a lot of bean to bar people right now because cocoa butter is so expensive. They're using sunflower lecithin.
Oh wow. Wow.
You know, um, I have not. I haven't even played with that yet. I'd rather be a little more broke and go ahead and buy my cocoa butter and bring it in,
Yeah.
um, and make my bean to bar chocolate.
So let's talk about the process, right? We talked a little
Mhm.
bit. Let's get out the political standpoint because we can go real deep and need a couple more
Yeah, I
hours.
don't want to do
But
that.
let's talk about the process, right? I earlier spoke about, when some people hear chocolate, they automatically think, especially in the United States, they think Hershey, they think Snicker bars, and then I said there's this other side where people start talking about it in the percentages. So you'll hear them from milk chocolate all
Right.
the way up into the percentages. Can we talk a little bit about like what those percentages are? And it's
Yeah,
scientific, y'all, but there's some math involved in this.
there is. There is. And I just like to say we've all been brainwashed, because milk chocolate is not the best chocolate for you. The
No.
healthiest chocolate is dark chocolate. 100% dark chocolate is cacao. That is it. Cacao, a little bit of cocoa butter, maybe a tad bit of vanilla, but that's it. A lot of people are knowing, oh, that's baker's chocolate. It has no sugar in it. You're right. It has no sugar in it. That 100%. But let's talk about 70% and higher is the healthiest chocolate that you can have. It's great for your blood circulation. It's great for your heart. For us women, it's great for our stem cells and our memory. A little bit of chocolate every night with a glass of red wine, you will wake up like you had the best sleep ever. You slept well. Your mind is clear. There's a little bit of brain falls, but not as much as you would usually do, especially
Right.
us women that are going through menopause. A little bit of dark chocolate is great for you. And when we say 70%, I like the 70%, which I have right here that I've made over the last week. And it is 70% cacao, and the other 30%, there's only four ingredients in there. The cacao itself, the cocoa butter, sugar cane, and vanilla. That is it.
Right. And I think that when we're talking about the percentage, we're talking about the percentage of chocolate that's in the
Hmm.
bar
Right.
per the filler, right? So per the sugar, the cocoa butter, like all of that. That
Yes.
30% is all of that to make that bar 100%, but 70% of it is pure
Is the
chocolate.
cocoa.
So the
Is the
lower you
cocoa.
go, like in the
Is the stuff.
55s and such, that's the lower amount of chocolate that's involved in making that bar. I think once I hit like that 75%, my
Yeah.
eyebrow starts kind of twitch up, a little bit because it's like it gets really bitter, right? Um,
Right.
but I think like I think when people can have an easier understanding about the process, but also understand what's in their bar, it makes a
Uh
lot
huh.
of sense. And people are like, oh, along with the percentages, you'll also see the origin usually on the bar to tell you the
Hmm.
origin of the bar. But that also kind of references what cacao pods that are growing in that regional area as
Yes.
well. And sometimes they'll tell you the breed or the variety of chocolate that's
Sometimes. Yeah.
sometimes just depending on
Sometimes.
sometimes will tell you
Yeah.
what exactly variety of cacao that it is. And there's one that's like, oh my gosh, where is it from? Madagascar, that is very
Yeah.
well known for having like this little bit of jelly taste. So you'll always
Uh
see one
huh.
that said Madagascar, and they'll be like a peanut butter and jelly bar because they added
Right.
peanut
Right.
butter to it because it's just the variety has this nice jelly texture or texture to it.
And let's
Brazil.
talk about milk chocolate.
Oh,
You
okay.
know?
We got to talk
Yeah.
about milk chocolate, but we also are gonna run out of time if you want to still do
Oh.
a demo. Yeah,
Oh.
girl, I told you we could talk all
Oh.
day about this. This is
That is so funny. Yeah, I made a chocolate bar already for us, and we're just gonna unmold it while we're
okay.
talking about milk
Okay.
chocolate. How is
Okay,
that?
let's do that.
So yeah, let me grab it.
So milk chocolate is like the introduction, I think, especially for a lot of kids, right? Like
Yeah,
we eat a lot of what we call chocolate here in the United
yeah,
States, and the majority of that chocolate is a milk chocolate.
yeah. So for me, a milk chocolate, and I have some turning in my melange right now, but it's coconut milk chocolate.
Oh,
Instead
okay.
of using dairy powder, regular dairy powder, I use a coconut milk.
Hmm.
And for here, we have a lot of vegan people, a lot of non-dairy people. And I just kind of stuck with that a little bit. And I like the taste of it. And it doesn't taste like coconut, but it's all natural and it's delicious, right?
Yeah.
Um, so if I was making a bar and I have my chocolate, I would temper my chocolate.
Yeah.
And what are we talking about when we're tempering chocolate? We take our temperature up to, majority of the time it's like no more than 116 degrees. That is hot, you
Hmm.
know, very, very hot. And we need to drop our temperature for my environment in my shop between 88 to 87. Okay. And it's different in every place. When I was in Seattle, it was in between, it was like 89. Because it's
Mm.
cold over there.
It's
And,
colder.
it's
Hmm.
colder. In Florida, when I was doing it, it was like 87.5 to 86, just
Hmm.
trying to drop it down. But when I say drop it down, dropping down in temperature, we're adding, and I do a seeding method. And so, because I'm trying to get things done
Okay.
quickly instead of a
Yeah.
table method, which is fine. But if I'm really trying to get some things done, and I'm watching my assistant chocolatier, she's tempering chocolate as we speak. She's getting ready to dip some things. Um, and we are taking it from that 116 and we're dropping it down by adding, when I say seeding, we're taking already solid chocolate that is already tempered. and dropping it into melted chocolate that is very hot, and we're breaking down the crystals and the molecules of the chocolate so that it can expand and release
Right.
and expand and release, right? We drop it down. Once we get to that temperature, also, I was taught, um, even though we have a thermometer or whatever, our body is a thermometer, right? So if you take that chocolate and it's melted, Layla, bring me your chocolate. She's making Bart. So
Hi,
if
Layla.
this chocolate, say hi. There we go. So if we're taking this chocolate, right? And I'm gonna touch it right here. If it's colder than my body temperature, it's ready to go. What's our body temperature usually in temperature?
Yeah.
As you know, if
96.8. Yep. Yep.
right, if it's lower than that and it feels
Or
cold to you,
98.6. Hmm.
if it's cold to you, it's ready to go. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
uh, 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 old wise tale that was taught to me. But we also have our molds, and our molds look just like our logo. We clean our molds, we polish our molds. Even every bonbon, we do that. We polish it with cotton, um, and just so that we can get it crystal clear. Sometimes there's residue left on there from cocoa butter from the chocolate from before,
Right.
and then we ladle our tempered chocolate in there, and then we put it in the little magic box, which is our little fridge, not for very long. And then we get ready to crack, pop it out. Hopefully you can see. And we have our chocolate.
Look, that's so beautiful. I
Thank
I
you.
I'm gonna take it back just a little bit because I think some people may be having a question because I said,
I know
wait,
I
we
went
didn't talk.
very fast.
No, no, no. We really didn't get to, we kind of jumped over a step between
Uh-oh.
turning the cocoa nibs into
Yes.
chocolate itself.
Yes.
And
Yes.
me and you,
Yes.
we already know that next step, but
Yes.
as a small chocolate maker that doesn't make a lot of chocolate, and I think you're probably taking us over there to see that process. I know you are, which I think is kind of great so people can kind of see that part because everybody's like, wait, we got to the nibs, but how do you check it out to the chocolate? Um,
Yes.
and this process is, I use traditional, and I think you're
Also
going
going
to
to
show it.
show the board.
Yeah,
I'm
show the
showing the
board.
board. So
Um,
after watering, we go to the melanger and we're grinding and we're conching. And that's where we warm up our cocoa nibs to release some of the cocoa butter, um, from the nibs itself, and we start grinding, right? And I usually grind for easy 4 to 5 hours of just grinding before I add any of the three ingredients that goes inside.
right. So
And
what you're saying.
remember, go
Sorry.
ahead.
So what you're saying is, and I do this process too, is we grind the chocolate up, and as that grinder's going, the chocolate is melting because the grinder's warm, so it is starting to grind that chocolate up. And I think she's gonna. Oh, we're gonna sneak peek because if she has some going on there, it'll be kind of cool to get to see that. Yes, look. So this is the machine, and as the chocolate is going, it starts melting. And when it gets to a point of melting, we don't want it to get cold because the last thing you do is you want this to seize up as it gets cold in there. You
Right.
add sugar and you add the filling
The
ingredients.
sugar cane itself. And I
Yeah.
have to say, sugar cane, we do not add granulated sugar. If we are doing sugar free, I use monk fruit.
Okay.
Um, yeah, monk fruit, it blends so nicely. Um, and with that sugar cane, I grind it to it's a powder, and it goes into the chocolate with the cocoa nibs so nicely. And you see what you see right there, and it's kind of there's some white powder. There is cocoa is the coconut milk
The coconut
because I
milk.
just added that. You see that a
Awesome.
little bit?
And how
Yeah,
long? And so, Erica, how
yeah.
long do you allow that to go, like that machine to go?
Uh-oh. So this is I started this yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, and this will go till tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's not a fast
Sorry,
process,
everybody.
right? Yeah,
No.
these processes are usually like in 24 hours or longer when creating that chocolate because we're making sure that this is a finite and fine and making sure that all the foreign and pieces and granulated pieces are grinded up. So I just did
Yes.
I was like, how did I miss one of
And
the
we
most
scraped.
exciting?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
we jumped to it. I got excited too. So, and I make sure I'm scraping down the sides and making sure that we're getting everything and developing the flavors, especially with the conching.
yeah,
That when we add more pressure to the stones and we add more pressure, because the bottom of my melanger is stone and then my wheels are stone. And
right,
once you tighten it up, that conching it really that's where it's getting so you can get to that texture of nice and smooth
right.
and really developing the last of the flavors that you
And
need out of
and
your
and
chocolate.
And what made me go, oh my God, we forgot this process is I don't know if anybody can hear the machine going. So this
Yeah,
machine is not quiet.
no,
It's not quiet. And sometimes I had to hide my machine like in the guest bedroom and close the door and like stuff like
yeah,
underneath there because it is a loud machine. It's stone on stone
and it shakes.
and it
So it's
shakes.
on
Yeah,
the floor. I keep it on the floor. I can't have it up on the table.
because it'll want.
I would, oh, it would be on the floor,
Yeah, yeah,
So I would come back and my little expensive machine would be gone and chocolate everywhere. So we don't
yeah.
want that either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I know we're getting really close to go to call time, and like I said, we could talk about this all day, and with my
yeah,
pure excitement about not liking chocolate. I want everybody, if you have a question about chocolate, bean to bar, chocolate period, anything that you want to know, please do put it in the chat. We do have one question that's asking if when you make chocolate, can you make chocolate tea from the nibs?
yes. So you will have your nibs. You will also have the whole, and then I always love. Again, I like to add dandelion. I like to add marigold. I like to add. It depends on what kind of flavoring that I want it to come from. Cinnamon, nutmeg, Grenada nutmeg. Spice Island. And I have quite a bit of nutmeg from Grenada, which is amazing. Um, and you definitely can, but you got to make sure that it's when you steep it, it has to be really, really hot water.
Yeah. Yeah. If you
Yeah.
have any questions, guys, please do put it in the chat and we will be more than happy to start answering a couple of those questions. I mean, like for me, again, in fact, ironically, I even had some chocolate, like regular chocolate, like sitting here. And this one is a milk chocolate because that's what I have in the house right now. I have a
Yeah.
European that lives with me, so
Uh-oh.
he just eats a lot of milk. I can tell you, the varieties of chocolate and the flavor of chocolate,
Uh-oh. Did we freeze up?
variety of things. We're talking about environmental up a little bit, but I was filling in a little bit. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. What I was saying about cacao overall is that for one, it's about environmental, right? Knowing where
Yes.
the plant is, what's planted around the plant. Also, between pollination, the variety, down to how you ferment it
Yep.
because these can change all the flavors. So how you decide to ferment it, even drying. I've seen methods where they have dried on asphalt, where there are certain areas where they do dry. Yes, and it does have this little fermented asphalty taste to it. Um,
Wow.
Down to from the drying down to roasting, so roasting
Uh-huh.
plays into this, and then you are going to talk about like the fillers, what fillers you put on it. There is a beautiful balance of how to create chocolate, and that's when I tell people when they want chocolate, try to find a bean to bar maker because of just the amount and what it takes to make those bean to bars has a lot of care when it comes to making a bean to bar variety.
That is very true. It's very true, and it depends on the chocolatier himself on what flavors that they're looking for, you know. And I try to go with the environment that I have, especially when I'm making my hand painted bonbons. You know, I'm sticking with all the Caribbean flavors like tamarind, passion fruit, mango, guava, coconut. Those are my five biggest sellers besides salted caramel.
Okay, so
You know?
you're talking about these fabulous flavors, and I have already asked because I know y'all are asking probably are wondering why. When can I get some? And how can I get like can you just mail these to me? And I know right now is like the most horrible time to send chocolate because
Yeah.
well, it's just really 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 hot. But do you do holiday packages? That's what I want to know.
We do. So we have a website, bluechocolatedi.com, and we start back shipping October 1st. So it's always October all the way to the end of April, unless it's super, super hot, you know, or the end of May. Um, and we do ship. Christmas is a big time for shipping, and so is Valentine's and Easter. So
So just the colder temperatures is what we're looking at to have these
yeah,
chocolates in.
because it's hot, girl. When I say it's hot, I woke up, it was 91 degrees yesterday.
Yeah, I know those temperatures very, very well. And right now
Yeah,
it's cacao season right now, and I think that's what people don't, like it has a season. And I think that's what
yeah,
people have to like also take in consideration as well as we talk about chocolate. And we've been talking more about the sweet chocolate versus like putting it into more of a savory aspect. We'll do
right,
that for
right.
another time and in another episode. But I want to thank you, Erica, for taking the time
Thank you
to
for
be
having
here
me.
with me and to talk about chocolate and the process of chocolate on World Chocolate Day. I also want to implore everyone, if you are not a Slow Food USA member, please think about joining us. You can find out that information on slowfoodusa.org/membership. And hopefully Robin will put it in one more time in the chat. Thank you all for joining us. And we'll wait till we have our next episode. I believe.